10th Avenue North is with us because he's got nothing else to do, really. Let's be honest.
If you lean in, you can hear my 4 children screaming.
I've heard a little something. CJ, are we live on social media? I'm not seeing that currently.
We are not, but we are recording, and this shall be repurposed. So
okay.
We are there troubleshooting that as we speak, so we could go live at any moment. But let's be honest, Mike. We all want to ask you the question, is this our Lord and Savior's way of saying it's a wrap on 10th Avenue North? Because you guys were just about to do the final tour.
He's like, you know what, guys? No, this needs to be done sooner. Like,
I'm sure that feels weird.
Oh, man. It's all kinds of sad and weird and painful. And it's like... for those wondering, if you follow 10th Avenue North and you're aware that we are disbanding, the question is always, well, who broke up with who? Who got in a fight? Who knocked somebody out? It's been a very amicable decision. Unlike my children screaming. Can you hear them? They're screaming.
I love this real life interview.
Like hyenas howling in the background.
It's so great.
Quarantine life, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And my house is not soundproofed. I'm sorry. But yeah, about a week before the tour, our spring tour, our bass player came to us and said, "Hey guys, I'm going full-time real estate," because he's been doing real estate the last year and it's been going really well. And so then I looked at Jeff. I said, "Hey Jeff, it's just you and me now, buddy. You what do you want to do?" And he goes, "Actually, I think I want to stop doing this too."
Oh, and your poor heart.
Well, what's funny is the lead singer, a lot of times, there's been a lot of conversations where band members go, "Well, you can always go solo, blah, blah, blah." They kind of hold it over your heads a little bit. And, I can hold my head up high because I didn't leave them. They all left me.
Oh, buddy, here we go. Now it comes out.
What
Here's
now?
The real story. No.
So here it is. So for me, it's weird because it's a bit of like, having a funeral and a wedding at the same time, which I think a lot of us have those transitional moments in our lives where I now mourn the end of 10th Avenue North. But I mean, I was telling you, Joy, I just wrote a song yesterday. I'm going to keep writing songs and putting out music. I just didn't feel like it was honoring to the band to keep calling myself 10th Avenue North when it's really just me.
Yeah.
I go, 10th Avenue North was a group of dudes, so I'm going to carry on as myself, I believe.
From beginning to end, but because I know once we segue out of the whole 10th Avenue North thing, we probably won't circle back, but from the beginning to end, from the first, I think I'm just going to do this. What about you? I think I'm just going to do that, to, let's just not be a band anymore. Is that a week? Is that a month?
That was about 3 days.
Oh, that's so
and it was
quick
because we went, well, this tour is going to be our last tour, because Ruben said, "I'm going to be done when this tour's over." That was 6 or 7 days before the tour started.
Whoa.
So then we just went, well, we got to let our fans know that this is it. And then, so now it's weird because we've got to reschedule all these shows, but Ruben's already said, "No, I'm done." So we're going to do a spring tour, or a spring tour that will happen in the fall.
Crazy.
Without Ruben, which is kind of sad.
That is sad. This is such a crazy time for everyone. And like being in quarantine and still writing, I have to know what kind of songs and music are coming out of you in this season. What are you having to like creatively write?
Have you heard the song "My Own Prison" by Creed? I created my own prison. It's a bit like that.
You could. I was gonna say, you guys, when this is all said and done, I wouldn't be shocked if he rolled out like, you got 4 daughters and you wipe the Donehey 6 or something, and you guys
like the Von Trapp family.
Yeah, of course, just hit the road just like that.
We're a ways off from that. Maybe in the future.
Maybe someday.
I'm trying to dissuade my daughters from a life of music.
Because you know what it's like.
No, if they want to do it, more power to them.
Well, so in the midst of all this craziness, if I could, you're obviously creating, so you have some level of focused energy. And
hold on a second. I hear my 6-year-old just yelling, "I need more toilet paper." We all need more toilet paper.
How
Child.
relatable is that?
What a mature 6-year-old.
You need toilet paper? Cool. Let me get you some.
Oh, this is the best real dad moment.
I'm like, part of me wants to go, did you look down and see there was no toilet paper when you began whatever you were doing? But let's be honest, we've all been there.
Yeah.
How much toilet paper do you have in your house right now?
Can I tell you something? I have an idea. There you go, baby. I have an invention that I've thought about for years because I have 4 daughters.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Last week, my wife had just come back from the grocery store. Was like, yeah, there's no toilet paper. And we're like, okay, so how many rolls do we have? We walk outside, and 2 of our daughters are literally teepeeing the yard. They're throwing. They've never done this in their lives. And, of course, they don't know there's a toilet paper shortage. But we're like,
that hurts me deep.
What are you doing with the toilet paper?
That's our livelihood.
Yeah. So I had this idea years ago, and now I think the market is prime. But you call it the teepee. And you build this little toy wigwam, like a teepee, and out the top, it dispenses however many sheets of toilet paper you allocate. And you hit a little button, and it could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 3, and it goes, and then that way you go to your girls, this is how many. You hit the button, and however much comes out, that's how much you're using.
3 squares apiece.
Yeah, then wash your hands.
The creative genius in more ways than one. What do you call that? The TP what?
TP. Listen, if anyone's hearing this and you run with this, just give me some royalties. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Log on to the tptp.com. Buy 2 and get the 3rd free.
I mean, right now, that would take off right now.
Yeah, it really would, because everybody's like, my kids are using too much. For
You're
real.
like, I'll spend $25 to save the toilet paper I already have because I don't know where the next roll is coming from.
So true. It's out in your bushes, apparently. So how are you handling quarantine? Give us a quick update. You, your wife, how are you keeping it together? We're all in the same boat and we're all struggling.
We are having, it's like just waves, right? It's just waves of one day we wake up and we go, look at all this silver lining. We have a backyard. I built a tree fort for them for 3 days.
That's great.
We have a kitchen that we have Netflix, we have all this stuff. We had just bought my wife and I, she wanted to put a new TV in our bedroom. And I was like, I don't want a TV in the bedroom because then you resort to TV when you shouldn't. So we met in the middle and we bought a projector, like $100 projector but now when we watch movies in our bedroom, it's like being at the movie theater because we projected onto this wall. It's gigantic. That's been amazing.
We're jealous.
Silver linings. Like I have a projector. I have like movie quality TV for $100. But then, and then the next day you wake up and like waves of anxiety. Like, are we all going to get this? Are our parents going to die? When the heck are we going to be able to talk to our friends again? Oh my goodness, I don't think we can homeschool our children anymore. Homeschool parents are like, I was made for this, and the rest of us are like, someone help me entertain these humans.
With
CJ
4,
can relate.
I can't imagine with 4. What are the ages of your girls again?
10, 9, 6, and 2.
That's a lot of separate learning happening there.
Which is why I just posted on my Instagram me mowing the yard with my 2-year-old strapped to my chest. Because we basically pass her back and forth between me and my wife of like, you occupy her attention now.
Yeah, you just take turns.
That was a great answer before. Basically, you could really apply the answer you gave at the beginning of this to anything, which is, what are you doing in this time? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Yes. And I think the biggest thing is, and my wife and I just, we had a big fight 2 days ago. And it was really just, I was like walking out, putting bike in the shed or something. And she's like, comes out, goes, what are you doing? I go, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm putting the bike in the shed. And she's like, no, I mean, the kids are all screaming. Margot touched a pan. It was too hot. And then you just walk out. And I was like, well, the girls were going to have brownies in the tree fort, and then you realize how much of your escalation, this is my buddy and I, he's a psychologist. He goes, if you're at home right now and you're fighting, whichever party escalates the situation first, that's really probably not to do with the other person as it is your own stuff. So we just had to have a big conversation about what we were expecting from each other, because, isn't like 90% of your arguments, the reason is you haven't read the other person's mind. You're going,
yes.
Why didn't you know that I was expecting you to do this? And you're like, because I'm not a mind reader.
And then it gets escalated. You're like, how could you expect that of me? I didn't know. Oh, that's so good. You have to.
And you get to the root of all that right now, right? Because you're such focused energy. And there's a very unique dynamic when everyone's together, because you quickly learn how different we all see the world. And I don't know how much you're home. You're probably like home ebbs and flows too, right? Because you'll be on the road touring with the band for a little while, and then you come back. And when I sort of leave for the office at the beginning of the day, if we're traveling, you come back, you realize, oh, so my wife is the sheriff when I'm not around. They have a routine, and I'm a deputy. So I have to make sure that I report to the sheriff before I do anything specific. Sir, yes, sir.
I think a lot of couples in this quarantine are probably for the first time being forced to learn how to fight.
Ooh, and that's
now
hard.
Let me unpack that, because a lot of us.
Joy's over there like, no, I already know how to do that.
A lot, but
no, but not well.
That's what I mean. What I mean is to view conflict as not an indicator that something's wrong, but sometimes conflict is an invitation to what could be made right. Okay. And a lot of times we get used to these rhythms of we're just together a short period of time each day. And so as soon as there's a conflict, we just grit and bear it. And then we escape to our work, or we escape to the next thing we have. And this is forcing people to like, oh, we actually have to figure out what each other wants. And we have to like navigate how hard this is. But if you put in the work, you might just find that the conflict is an invitation to what could be put right.
That is so good for this season. I'm facing that already. I mean, it's hard. It's hard in so many different aspects. Another hard aspect is that Easter's this weekend. Like, I just keep being like, how are we going to make Easter special when we're just sitting and watching our church on a screen? Do you guys have any plans? And what are you doing to make Easter feel like Easter?
Let me first say this about Easter and about church in general. I had a buddy who gave this sermon years ago. And it was basically how a lot of churches start with people. Then it evolves into a program. Then it evolves into a premises, right? A building and grounds. And then it becomes political. So the gift we have this Easter is that it's not political. You don't have to worry about the premises, and you really don't have to worry about the program. And that you can actually get back to the people. Mm-hmm. Like my buddy's buddy is a pastor in Green Bay, and they have like 4,000 people come every week to this big church. And he said, but all the employees are home. So instead of all the energy they used to put into the program, guess what all the employees are doing all day, every day? They're calling all the people of the church, asking them what they need.
Yeah, that's what my husband's doing.
And he said he feels like they're more connected. And obviously this can't go on forever, and it won't go on forever. So, but the thing I hope we learn is that we don't need what we think we need sometimes. And the thing is, Jesus is sitting back like, hey, y'all, didn't need your programs anyway. I like them. I think they're fun. I think I can use them But just because God uses something doesn't mean it's necessary for him to use.
He doesn't need the kids' Easter choir.
It's like each of us, right? I mean, that's what our song Control is about, Acts 17, that God isn't served by men's hands if he needed anything. So in other words, there's ways that I can serve God that actually blasphemes him. If I'm working going, God needs my band or needs my song or needs my church building or needs my thing, I actually I'm saying he's not who he is. But if I serve people because God's inviting me into what he has for me, that's a different story. So all that to say, I think my buddy and I, my sister's in a band as well, and one of her bandmates lives across the street from me. So we talked about socially distancing. We know 10 families in eyeshot on our street. So we talked about me and him getting in the back of his flatbed truck with a sound system and kind of driving back and forth and singing worship songs from the back of his truck.
Sunday, that would be
so that everyone could stay in their front yard. And then I think that'd be
brilliant.
Fun.
Celebrating Easter from the bed of a truck. That's very Tennessee state of mind right there.
Yes, it is.
Hey, man, Corona can't put us down. We will.
He has risen, y'all. Any requests? I would like to ask you how you developed your confidence. This is probably the second or third time that's deeper than it sounds. The second or third time we've talked to you, and even when bad stuff is happening, like a worldwide pandemic, you sort of have this abundance of confidence that it just feels like you already know. You already kind of rest in a place well, I know he's working this for good. And maybe it's just a persona, or maybe it is just this authentic place that you go to when crazy stuff happens. You're yeah, this is for good, and I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna tell you the little intricacies from my projector on the wall to the to all the good stuff. How do you develop that kind of confidence and rest in that? Because I think I myself am envious of that. I bet a lot of people watching this are envious of that.
I've deceived you all, first of all. But I appreciate the words. I think, so I was just talking to a buddy this morning, and he was talking about being led to Jesus as an 8-year-old in a Baptist church in the South, and how he basically came down front because the evangelist came up and was like, "You're all going to hell." And I had this buddy, and he thought he was still going to go to hell. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and he was in the other room, and I heard him screaming, "I'm in hell, I'm in hell." And he died before I could save him. And,
oh, snap.
And my buddy said he's still recovering from this thing that he got taught. Only 1%, if you're only 99% sure you're going to heaven, the 1% of disbelief will send you to hell. And I actually, according to Jesus, I'm going somewhere with this. I would flip that around and I would say, if faith the size of a mustard seed is all it takes, that tells me you actually could have 99% doubt and 1% of faith is actually enough. Because it's not how much faith you have, it's who your faith is in that matters. That's right. If I got on a steel ladder, I could be trembling for all I'm worth, but that ladder is going to hold me.
Mm-hmm.
Where if I have 100% confidence, but it's in a wooden, broken, splintering ladder, it's not going to hold me, right? It's going to fall apart, even if I'm dead sure. So the reason I have confidence is because I absolutely realize that I am full of fear and full of lack of faith and full of doubt. And I'm really honest with God about those things. And then I'm left to, okay, well, I can either act on all this doubt and all this unbelief and all this fear that I have, or I can act on the little bit of faith that I have. And I go, I think if I risk on the hope and the little bit of belief that I have, I think it's better than if I just live fully on all the fear that I have,
That is so profound.
He does kind of have this mentality of yeah, worldwide pandemic. this is crazy. A lot of anxiety going on, uncertainty, and that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
all these,
Lean into
you
it.
know,
You like kind of lean into it, you know?
Yeah. Here's the thing we got to understand. I've watched all these people on their Instagram be like, don't be afraid. God doesn't want you to be afraid. And if you talk to any psychologist, that's like incredibly unhealthy.
You can't help the emotions sometimes.
No,
they
you
just
are
come.
afraid. And so it's tough because in the Bible we're told, do not be afraid. But I think, there's a bit of loss in translation because obviously Jesus wasn't speaking English. And I think when Jesus says, don't be afraid, I think what he means for us is don't live based on your fear.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, like, don't be afraid means don't take every step as if your fear is true.
Mm-hmm.
But in spite of the fact that you're afraid, move forward. In other words, this is what I say to my daughters. This is a way to make it real simple. My daughters sit there and they go, Dad, I can't go upstairs. I'm scared. I'm afraid because I'm scared of the dark. Well, I don't say to her, don't be afraid. She can't go, oh, okay, I won't be afraid. But what I do say is, hey, isn't it awesome that you're afraid? Because now you have the opportunity to have courage.
That is so simple.
You have to have doubt in order to have faith, and you have to have fear in order to have courage.
That's like the simplest I've ever heard it, and I needed to hear that.
He reminds me of this quote about life, and it has to do with surfing. And I'm not a surfer, but listen to this. You ever heard this? Tell me if you've heard this, Mike.
I like where it's going.
So it says a surfer, a Christian surfer, I can't remember where I read this, but I had always stuck with me, he said, living a good life and living a good faith-based life is kind of like surfing. If you use all your energy when you're in the water, fighting the current and trying to swim against the wave, you'll use all your energy and you'll burn up everything you got and you'll get nowhere. But the art is turning around and going where the wave is life in the analogy, going where the wave takes you and figuring out how to stay on your board and make something beautiful in the process. And it's always stuck with me. And it's like halfway through this conversation, you were saying something. I was like, I feel like that's kind of the way that here comes this big tidal wave.
Pandemic.
And instead of you going, I'm going to fight through this, all the stuff I'm feeling, you just sort of turn your surfboard around and you go, all right, let's ride this joker out, see what's going to happen.
You're kind of reminding me of the line in Frozen 2 now.
Which one?
Which one?
When the way in front of you is uncertain, all you can do is the next right thing.
Yeah.
Like you got a wave coming at you.
You
got a wave coming at you.
I was in the theater and Anna started singing. I was like, this is pretty heavy, Anna. Whoa.
I love it, dude. All you can do is the next right thing. In other words, like, here comes the wave. Okay, the next right thing I can do is turn and ride it.
Yeah. That's so true. We need that during this season because every day is like a different kind of difficulty, different kind of battle. No one's prepared for this. And so that's really, really helpful.
My wife and I, we've made this grand plan. Like, we're going to have 7 to 10 Bible time, reading time, homeschool time. And that's quickly dissolved into like, you read a Bible story, you pray, you sing something. All right, do your homework.
I can relate so much.
You got to take what you can do. The biggest thing for me is to like you don't let your kids dictate how it's going to go, but you do meet them where they're at, and you don't go, you're going to sit here for this hour Bible lesson. Because trust me, I've tried that. And with each day I'm learning, all right, can we do 3 minutes? Can we do 4? And then the other day they were all losing their minds. So we read from the Jesus Storybook Bible.
Oh, yes.
It's like something my 10-year-old can get into and my 6-year-old. And I just have them enact it. I read it and then I have them each play a character. And they're like, I want to be the lion. No, I want to be the lion. Or like we did Palm Sunday, like I had my oldest daughter, the donkey, and then my 2-year-old was Jesus sitting and the other ones were laying down. I mean,
CJ, this is stuff you need to apply with your girl.
Write this down.
Work with what you got, man.
I'm just firing up the old Nintendo the other day. He's got it going on over here.
Full on Palm Sunday.
I've been like, you guys are gonna watch me play Mike Tyson's Punch Out right now, and you're gonna be in awe that I know how to beat every single one of these guys.
The first day, Mike, I was the best because we just fired up the Nintendo Classic, and they're just not quite old enough to know if their controller's not plugged in. They're not playing. I'm actually the one who's playing. I'm like, go, babe.
They think they're playing.
Oh, that's smart.
You're doing awesome. You just won.
You guys.
Keep going. Let's do this. We got to do a show. I wish we could keep doing this.
Mike, thank you so much for making time for us. He stopped mowing the lawn with his baby strapped to him just to talk to us.
Surrounded by estrogen. I don't think he misses mail company at all. I think he's just relishing all of this.
Nope. You know, people ask me all the time, you praying for that boy? I said, no, the Lord gives girls to a family that already has a man. Boo bam.
That's the best way to end this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, dude.
Mike.
Appreciate you, man.
Stay
Likewise.
safe.
Likewise, guys. It's always fun.
Bye, friend.
See you, Mike.
Thank you.